Last week, your assignment was to do 6 boxes, 3 on each piece of paper with a horizon line and a vanishing point, and with the shading, with the boxes going from lighter to darker as they go back. And then the other thing that you were supposed to do is change the positioning of the vanishing point on the horizon on each of the papers. So on this paper you had it in one place, and on this paper you had it on to the next place. The next step, which is your assignment for this week, is that you are going to create 2 letters. So today I'm going to show you how to make the L, and you're going to make the L this week, and you're also going to make the letter T. And then next week, what we'll do is we'll do the more sophisticated, the more complicated letters, which are going to be the O and the R. And I think after those 4 letters, you'll probably be able to use any of the letters in order to make your word. All right, so let's get busy on making the L. So when you think about letters, you want to think about how fat they are, how wide they are. And that is one of the reasons why when we started off with the boxes, I had you do a thin box and a fat box and a medium box. Because uppercase letters, capital letters, are they can be very wide, like a W. The W is the widest letter that there is. And then most of the letters fall into kind of a medium width, so kind of like this size of a block, or maybe even a little bit thinner or a little bit taller, but more of a rectangular type block. So most of your letters fall in here. And then we have the I, pretty much the lowercase I, that would fall into a very thin type of box. So I was thinking of how we're going to make the boxes turn into letters when I was having you make them small, medium, and large as far as their thickness goes. So keep that in mind. We're going to go on to a new sheet of paper. So this is just the computer paper. And let me just grab one piece so I'm not forever shuffling them around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off the same way with a box. So I'm going to measure down 1 inch. I'm going to make a little mark. And 1 inch over here and make a little mark. And then I'm going to draw a light line going across, connecting those 2. And I know I'm not going to need it on the edges. I know I'm going to need it someplace in the center so that you can just see that I went a little bit darker right there. And then I am going to come down 4 inches. Well, actually, I'll do my across part first. So I'm going to put my ruler back on. And if you don't have a ruler and you're using the edge of something, just try to get it in the center. It's no big deal if it's not in the center, because later your blocks are not always going to be in the center anyways. But this is my center, and let's have it to be about 1 inch. I'm going to go about 1.5. So 1 inch, 1.5, and let's just see if I came over about the same amount on both sides. I did, okay. And then I'm going to have it come down to 5 inches, so it's going to be a 4-inch letter. Yes, a 4-inch letter. So I think I want mine just a little bit thinner, so I'm just going to bring it over a little bit. I'm going to bring it down to 5 inches. Oh, that's not a very straight line, so I think I'm going to have to measure. So let's say that I give myself 1 before 3, 1 before 3, and actually draw a straight line down. And then I'm going to measure how far over, 1.5, 1.5 to here, and it is right here. And I'm going to bring that down to 5 inches, which will give me a 4-inch letter. So that looks pretty good. So within here, within this block, I'm going to make my L. So I'm just going to think about how thick I want it to be. Let's say that I want it to be 3/4 of an inch. And just because I'm really bad at drawing straight lines, I'm going to do 2 of them. And then I'm also going to have it be 3/4 of an inch this way. Now yours can be 1 inch. It can be thinner if you want. It can be fatter. And actually, I'm just going to bring my ruler over a little bit. I'm just going to make it a little bit fatter. So I'm just getting my L. And there is my L. All right, so I don't need the rest of this. But I am going to trace that block for my next letter. Okay, and then let's put our vanishing point in a different place than I put it on this one right here. So this is me, or the person looking at the L, and they're looking up at the L, which means that the L is up on their right side. So I think that on this one, just so that you have something, two different things to look at, I'll make it go to the other direction. So I am going to put my horizon line, my eye level line, down right here. And rather than putting my vanishing point to the left, on this one I'll just put it on the right. So it just is one more example for you guys. And then I'm going to do the same thing I'm going to do that you did with your blocks. So I'm going to go from the corner, the corner, the corner, the corner, the corner, the corner. I might have done that one twice. And I'm only going to draw the ones that do not go on the face of the L. So these two do not go across the face of the L. This one I'm going to see a tiny, tiny bit of because it goes on the outside of it. This one goes on the outside of it. And I could draw it all the way down, but I know I'm not going to need it too far. Now this guy up here, this corner, if I put it onto the corner and I go to that vanishing point, see how it goes on the face of the L? So I'm not going to draw that one in, all right, because it falls behind. I'm going to do the same exact thing that we did with the bottom of the boxes. I'm going to make them a thickness, and just because it's easier to use my ruler as a thickness, I'm just going to come across. And I'm going to connect the two ends of the L together, just like we did on the blocks. And then once it touches that one, it's going to come up straight. How do I know that? Because it comes up straight here, so it would have to come up straight in the back of it, because the back of the box is built the same way as the front of the box. So I'm just going to try to get my line straight. And so now I have all of this part done right here. Now, to decide where this part is, that's the tricky part, and that's the part that will always tell me if somebody really knows how to do perspective or if they kind of make it up a little bit. So the way that you find out where this line's going to come up is you have to bring this line down, because this is a block right here, and this is a block. So I'm going to bring this down. You'll see it in a second. I'm going to bring it down lightly to here, and then I'm going to take my ruler or my envelope or whatever I have to draw straight lines with. And as this comes down and crosses right here, I know that that is where this one will start to come up. And that is the back of my L. That is the back of my L. And that truly shows that I understand the perspective. I understand that this block right here is attached to this block right here. Two blocks glued up against one another to make the letter L. And then you can just take off all your extra lines. You can eliminate these if you want as well. You can color in your front of yours a color if you would like. But you definitely have to do the same thing that we did before, is I want you to shade where it is furthest away, and then as it comes towards us, you're going to get lighter. So let me just take and turn this. Also, this paper is really magnetic against this table for some reason, so it like just sticks to it. So this is darker because this is further away. And as it gets closer, I'm going to have it lighter. This is further away. I'm going to have it lighter. This is further away. And I'm going to have it lighter. So let me just bring this one over because this one is more finished like I would like you to have it done. So over this way, I was seeing the left side in the bottom. And if I was standing on the right side, I would see the right side and the bottom of the letter L. Okay, let's do the T next. So I'm going to use this block. I'm going to make my dots darker so that I do not have to spend so much time making that initial block. And then I am going to try to see through my paper. And I see one of them there, I see one of them there, I see one of them there, and I see one of them there. So you see how you can see through it? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. Oh, my phone. I'm going to connect these lightly. I'm going to do this side really lightly in the middle because I know I'm not going to need it in the middle. I'll move my hand in just a second. Yep. I'm going to do my top. And I'm going to do my bottom. In the center. All right, so this time I'm going to do the T, and I'm going to decide, just because the top part is the easiest, so I'm going to make it a thickness. So I'm going to keep it at 3/4. You can do it at 1 inch. However fat you want the front or the face of the letter to be is up to you. I'm going to come across, I'm going to come across. Now this time I do have to find out where the middle is. So it's going to be right here. If you don't have a ruler, just try to make it as even as possible. Can only do what we can do with what we have, so no reason to stress about such things. I'm going to bring this down. Now I want this to look about as big as that, so it's a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to push it in a little bit. There is a lot with lettering. We're just barely going to be touching onto it. It is a whole art form. All right, so now I have my T done. I can get rid of my extra lines. You can spend a little bit more time on getting rid of your extra lines. Okay, and then let's change where our vanishing point is. So let's see where we've had them. In this one, it was way over to the right. My L, I did it way over to the right. This one was my L over here is way to the left. So why don't we put it, just so it's in someplace different, why don't we put it someplace underneath, but we'll move it a little bit to the left, okay? So I'm just gonna put my horizon line, which you'll remember is your eye level line. And then I'm gonna put my little dot, I'm just gonna come a little bit to one side. And like I said, you can put yours wherever you would like. We'll start with the bottom. So I will go from my bottom part to my vanishing point. And these lines are called vanishing rays. I'll draw my vanishing rays to the vanishing point. And then this corner right here, I'm going to use this one as well. And this one I'm going to use. And let's see if we see any of this one. So this one actually is going to go in front of the letter, so I'm not going to draw that one, okay? And then go on this side, this bottom one right here is going to come down, and then this one, this corner right here, I believe we're not going to draw either. And I'm correct. See how it goes in front on the face of the letter? So we're not going to draw it. And this one goes on the face of the letter, so we're not going to draw it. So let's do our thickness of our letter. So we'll start on the bottom again. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line down here. It's going to connect this line and this line together. So I'm just going to use the width of my ruler because it's faster. But you can use whatever width you want. So now I have this bottom part. Now I'm going to draw this side that comes up, and I'm going to try to get it straight so that it does come out correctly. And I think that's straight. Not the best line I've ever drawn. So this line comes up. When it touches on this part right here, when it comes up and touches this part, that is the end of that block. So this is the front of the block, and it goes back into space, and it comes down straight, it goes back into space. So when it touches here, that means that this part, this top, comes over. And it comes over here, to this one right here. Can you see that? Can you see that that's further away and this is towards us? And this is a block right here that is further away too. And then, let me just erase some lines so you can see it better. You'll erase all your lines. So pretend I erased them all. And then you will shade again. So this is going to be the part that's further away. It's going to get lighter. It's further away. It's going to get lighter. It's further away. It's going to get lighter. And this is further away. And it's going to get lighter. Okay? So those are the two letters. The nice thing about having the video, there's only probably one good thing about having the video and not having it done in class, is that you can always rewind it so that you can see it again. Whereas, not that you only see it once when I do it in class, but a lot of times you only see it once when I do it in class. So just as you passed in the 3 blocks on each piece of paper, 3 blocks on one piece of paper and 3 blocks on another piece of paper, you're going to be passing in 2 pieces of paper, one that has the T and one that has the L, and they're going to go to a vanishing point on a horizon line, and they're going to be shaded from darker to lighter, more so than I did here because we can only hold the phone just so long to take the video. So you want it to be nice and neat, like this one's neater than the ones that I just did for you for the video. Okay, if you don't have another color, you don't have to color the front of it. It's totally up to you. You can just leave it blank if you want and shade the parts of the letter that go back. So that's all you need to do for this week. I'm so glad we're not going to do April School Vacation because it just seems like we're just starting to get into the role. So it would be nice if we just continue, don't interrupt, and then we'll finish a week earlier from class. Okay, good luck. And if you have any questions, of course, you can just email me. Thanks so much.